holiday season.
Travelers of Narnia, I am your guide.
Oh, my excuse.
If it is a distraction for you, I can change form.
No.
I've been rereading the book, and I really came up with another reason why this is not another reason, but I gave the filmmakers even too much credit, I think, in the last one when I was talking about how bad this was. I just recently reread this scene in the book, and it's even more subtle than I gave C.S. Lewis credit for. Let's read this part of the book here, where basically Ramandu's daughter, or R.D., as I call her, or inevitably just sounds like Artie, whatever, it's kind of what I call her, because she doesn't have a name in the book, is just kind of explains how the lords fell asleep and everything, and basically saying, you have to dissolve the enchantment and everything, and Caspian says,
"And what are we to do about the sleepers?" asked Caspian. "In the world from which my friends come," here he nodded at Eustace and the Pevensies, "they have a story of a prince or a king coming to a castle where all the people lay in an enchanted sleep. In that story, he could not dissolve the enchantment until he had kissed the princess." "But here," said the girl, "it is different. Here he cannot kiss the princess till he has dissolved the enchantment." "Then," said Caspian, "in the name of Aslan..."
Show me how to set about that work at once. He's not necessarily saying, show me how to do this so I can kiss you. What he's saying is, like, he says in that story, he talks about how he had to kiss the princess to dissolve the enchantment. Kissing the princess is the equivalent of doing what I have to do to dissolve the enchantment. He's using like an analogy here almost. Caspian is not necessarily saying, I want to kiss you. He's saying, show me how to dissolve the enchantment so I can do this. So it's a lot more subtle than than I even gave Lewis credit for. This is subtle. The first time I read this, I don't even think I picked up on that. Like, he doesn't literally mean I want to kiss you. What he means is show me how to dissolve the enchantment. And then you find out later, oh, they got married. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's how Lewis handles them falling in love fast, as he's very subtle about it, and then you don't actually see them get married either. You just kind of hear about it later. This, in the movie, seems so heavy-handed. It seems like Caspian thinks she's hot, and that's it. And I think also that whole, oh, I can change form, Minotaur, his analysis has a very humorous but insightful kind of take on that. Just what I was saying in the previous analysis. Like, he's basically saying, she's saying, oh, I can look uglier. That'll make it better. Just so cheesy how they've done this. Taking something subtle and nuanced, turning it into something very heavy-handed. Again, it's just how it comes across to me in the trailer. Hopefully I'll be watching this video months from now and say, oh wow, I was wrong. That was just stupid Fox being misleading with their marketing. Still not a fan of the Invisible House. Oh boy, another Susan Peter shot. But the only reason, it doesn't make sense in the context of the trailer at all. All these fantastical fun shots, and then they're at like a wedding or something, I don't know. Now, not that worried about Peter and Susan having a big role. We've basically known for a while they're not going to have a huge role. But why are they there? Are they there because the filmmakers were writing the script and said, wow, it would work really well to have Peter and Susan here, Peter and Susan in this scene? Or are they in the movie because they said we must find a way to squeeze them into this movie because we want to include them in the trailer, and that will make people think that they're in the movie and they'll want to go see it? Is it just we have to find a way to get them in there, or do they really think it works well for the story? Obviously, the final result is all that matters, but is it going to seem out of place? Is it going to make sense? I'm not sure if I'm going to like or dislike this whole Peter-Susan inclusion. We'll see how it works. But the sense I get from this is that they're just trying to find any excuse. I think the White Witch, Peter, and Susan, the sense I get is that the reason they're in the movie at all is because they want to include them in the trailer. It seems like purely a commercial decision, not an artistic decision. Could be wrong. Hopefully it'll work well.
Now is the time to be strong.
Cool blood red sun there. Don Treader. Koryakin throwing something like dust or snow or something or other. I don't know what it is. It looks to me like he's just expressing his annoyance over the duffel bags, like, oh, these silly guys, that I'm stuck with. The cinematography in here looks terrible. This is so obviously a studio. This looks like they shot this, like they were in a rush to shoot this or something, or they didn't have enough lights. I don't know. This looks really, really bad. And again, I find that the designs of the hedges they've trimmed and everything, very, very Tim Burton-y. So just again, it's really disappointing with kind of the overall look of a lot of these visuals. There's Dufflepuds, not much to say about them. Again, they look really, really fake. Really, really characters to get done right. These hopping, bouncing, one-footed creatures make them look remotely real. Really, really hard to do. In this shot, they don't look very good to me at all. Not sure how they could be improved. Obviously, very, very excited to see them, and not see them, actually. Just exciting to see them in this shot, but hoping they'll look better in the final movie. A recent TV spot was released that showed the Chief Duffelbud kind of standing next to Caspian. He looks so obviously cut in. I just hope that the effects look better. Long Island again. Love that line. And Eustace, Edmund here facing off against the Sea Serpent. I recently read an interview with Georgie Henley where it talks about she says, Skinner had kind of a Jack Sparrow stunt that we filmed at the end of the movie. And I just thought she meant it was just kind of a cool stunt. I didn't think she literally meant it's like Jack Sparrow, but this looks just like at the end of the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie where Jack Sparrow kind of faces off against the Kraken, which I'm not a fan of that movie at all. So anything that reminds me of that movie, I'm not in favor of. It's just one of the things where, again, I'd always kind of been thinking, wow, this just looks like they're licking the crumbs of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. But I didn't expect to actually hear that from someone involved in the movie. Just like the Harry Potter thing, where I've always been saying, this just looks like instead of doing something original and different, they're trying to just knock off Harry Potter. Kind of the magical side of it and the Pirates of the Caribbean sense of adventure. They're trying to just capitalize on that rather than saying, let's do something original. But I did not expect to hear Michael Apted actually say that, which he basically did in that quote where he's like, we want to make more like Harry Potter and Star Wars and give it that flowing stream, the story through all the movies. It just seems kind of cheesy to me. Now, what we're seeing here is obviously film is visual. I think what they're doing here is they want to come up with a visual manifestation for temptation and say, rather than just talking about it, let's actually have something that they can physically watch them fight. Film is visual storytelling. So that the fact that they have the mist and the sea serpent here kind of representing temptation, visual, maybe that's, okay, visual storytelling. There's also such a thing as subtlety here. And whereas the book is really subtle and nuanced, you kind of have to interpret it and ponder through it, to realize what it's about. This is so heavy-handed to me, So taking something that was original, unique, and subtle, and adapting it into something that's, knocking off Harry Potter and Pirates of the Caribbean, and very heavy-handed, is not good adaptation to me. And again, that's just what it looks like in this trailer. It's not saying that's what it's going to be in the final film. It's a part of Minotaur's analysis where he talks about who's the villain of this movie, and that's kind of the thinking I think going on behind this miss is there must be a villain, because that's the conventional, cliched, formulaic, obvious thing to do. Is every movie has to have a villain, and Lewis refused to conform to that formula and dared to do something different, have a story where there isn't a clear villain. The conflict is really, the characters. And so the fact that if they really feel the need to they must have some kind of villain, I think that's where the Seven Swords, the mist thing really comes in. I don't think Lady of the Green Curl is going to be in this movie. Possibly might be setting her up in the silver chair, which would be really annoying, of course. Because the fact that the stories aren't that connected is unique, Other franchises don't do that. Now, I feel like they're trying to insert a villain of some kind into the movie to make it more like Harry Potter and Star Wars, which Michael Apted basically admitted that's what they're doing, more in line with franchises we already know. Why take a unique special book that did something different and adapt it into cliched, formulaic, conventional, seen that before? That's not good adaptation. I hope that's not what they've done. And the updated shot of Aslan was,
the Voyage of
background looks a little different. Same old logo.
3D, directed by Michael Apted.
So, overall thoughts on this trailer. I just kind of reached that point with Dawn Treader where it's like I don't even feel it anymore. It's like I've seen enough spoilers. I just have to go see it. There's nothing more to be said. This isn't really changing my opinion of the movie at all. This trailer. Some of it's kind of encouraging. The opening scene at the World's End looks awesome. Love that whole shadow shot and everything when he roars into the water. That's cool. One of the discouraging things is the visuals look, which I've been praising for so long. Wow, these ones look really bad. That's really disappointing. Obviously, it's encouraging to know that the dragon Eustace thing, well, it sounds like the undragoning. Well, I don't think it's going to be a home run. It doesn't sound like it's as bad as what we feared it would be, where he would just be transformed instantly after defeating the sea serpent. It sounds like the whole idea of Eustace not being able to transform himself will be there. Whew. Maybe they've lessened the power of the point since it's circumstantial, but it sounds like they've pretty much got it there. Will Poulter still looks good. That Minotaur joke looks good. This is a very, very misleading trailer. you know, say, oh, the enemies will unite, blah, blah. There's that 10 seconds sort of in the middle where it feels like a Voyage of the Dawn Treader movie. Man, that's the best I felt about this movie in months, you know? I hope that's the emphasis. What I would describe my feelings towards the movie right now as being skeptical but hopeful. Skeptical because a lot of this stuff looks bad and discouraging, but hopeful because there's clearly a lot of stuff we're not seeing. For example, we've heard from a lot of people that, just as he has in the book, Reapy Cheap is a big part of the movie. You know, he's the emotional core of the book. That he's a big part of the movie as well. We haven't seen very much of him. Just as far as his storyline, we see plenty of shots of him, but as far as what's he actually doing in the movie, what's his story, we've seen basically nothing of that. We don't even really know how they've handled that. So obviously there's a huge, incredibly important chunk of the movie we're not seeing at all. And that gives me hope that, especially just seeing the way this trailer is clearly misleading, there's a few areas in this trailer where we know Fox is playing dirty. Well, then there's hope that some of these other areas where we don't know for sure yet, hopefully there's a lot of other areas in this trailer where it is misleading, we just haven't confirmed it yet, you know? We know Fox is playing dirty, so I hope the emphasis here is totally wrong. It's not a save the world story, that the emphasis, the longing for Once True Home, the joy of finding it, the anticipation for Aslan's Country, it is really what it would be about. So again, skeptical, because a lot of this stuff looks bad, but hopeful because it's clearly a misleading trailer and there's a lot of stuff that we haven't seen. Maybe there's just a lot of good stuff that Fox is holding back. So I'm not expecting to like Dawn Treader right now, but hopeful that I could be wrong. You know, I hope that I watch this video years from now, or even just months from now, and I'm like, wow, I was wrong. The movie turned out great. You know, I can't believe I got worked up over nothing. I hope I have that reaction. I would love to be wrong.